One, two, three, four.
And welcome back to another episode of Breakfast with Brothers.
What's up, brother breakfasts? How's everyone doing out there? Hopefully chilling, relaxing, killing, vibing, thriving, maybe?
I hope all of your breakfasts were absolutely delicious. Or
Love to see
lunches
the
if you had.
faces, or hear faces, hear voices? I don't know.
See
Good to see
things?
the fans
I
out
don't
there.
know.
Hope everyone's chilling, regardless.
Crazy. I was crazy once.
But anyway, Ian and I are back again. Ian's spouting some new ideas to talk about today that could be a little controversial, who knows. But what are we talking about today? Let the people know what's up.
Is social media good for our society? Now, I know a lot of people would say, like, they enjoy social media. They enjoy keeping in touch with friends or, like, posting whatever's going on in their life, or even just watching other people do stupid stuff, But, there's a lot of things that even now, people that do enjoy social media are saying is, like, kind of taking over their lives, Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I guess I don't actively hear people saying that, but I know going through, moments of empathy where it's just like, oh, I got caught on my phone last night scrolling on TikTok for like an hour, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, me too. I mean, it doesn't have to be TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it ends up being, but it's one of those things where, yes, like you kind of end up in the same boat as other people, and you share the same thing, and I do hear it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, it's not like a crazy thing. Some people find themselves stuck on it for quite some time. What do they call that? Doom scrolling.
The doom scroll.
And, I think we're all guilty of it. Maybe some less than others if if they've never downloaded TikTok. I know some people don't have it. But then, Instagram's got them with, Instagram Reels. And then you have, like, YouTube Shorts for, it seems like, the younger generation is on YouTube Shorts, as well as, like, some on Instagram Reels, and that kind of mix in, and then there's a lot of people on TikTok, so on and so forth. Even Twitter, too. Or X, I'm sorry.
X. Facebook is really bad. That's mine. Like, when I end up, if I forget about, like, that TikTok exists, Facebook will be my doom scroll platform.
Yeah, definitely mine too, I would say. Like, if I'm not, if I'm just scrolling on Facebook just to see, like, what, people are posting, then I get caught in the little like, video bubbles, and it's like, oh, like, what's going on here? Like, someone doing something stupid.
That's usually what
yeah, it's always something stupid, but that's not what we're here to talk about, We're here to talk about if it's good for our society. Now, inherently, I would say immediately no. I take the side that social media has kind of crippled a lot of things for, one, younger generations that were kind of thrown into it at first. It started with them, like, at a younger point, whereas, like, we'll just take Brad, for example, our older brother. Sure, he's on social media, but I doubt he's on it as much as maybe you and I.
Sure.
Because,
That's
like,
I'd say that.
yeah, he'll send us a video every now and again. But the thing is, he also has kids. He's busy in other ways, so he maybe doesn't have much time on his phone, which is usually the case. For any, older people out there than, say, me and Zach, who have a family and just are caught busy doing other things other than being able to sit on your phone. That doesn't mean that there aren't people out there that have families and do that.
Right.
Because, they're part of the talk as well. But yeah, I would say inherently that, social media is bad for our society. I think it's kind of, like I said, crippled a lot of younger generations, and I think it's even crippling some older generations as well. Depending, some might get caught on it as well. But where I'm going with that is that I guess it's like overall image of yourself. You see so much during the day And we'll just play off of that part right there. That's just one kind of chunk of it.
Yeah.
Overall appearance of yourself, how you feel about yourself, what you feel about yourself to others, and I guess kind of what you're putting out there. Like if you're posting on like Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, and then what else? What else is there? I'm trying to think. I think they got
Twitter,
B.
You said X, Facebook,
Yeah.
TikTok. What else? What
They
did you
got
say?
they got Be Real. That's another one. It's not really
Yeah.
like a social media platform, but it's definitely
Snapchat.
something where, yeah. So, yeah, I said I think that was the first one I said. But yeah, you're putting yourself out there. You're taking either pictures of what you're doing, or pictures of yourself, or pictures of you with others, whatever it might be. Almost as like a way to like say like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like I think this is pretty cool, and you want other people to see it, right?
Sure.
So that kind of goes into like one wanting to be, noticed in some cases, where it's like for me it's like, oh yeah, I thought this was really funny or like really stupid. I want other people to enjoy it as well. Or just like, I don't know, it could be anything. It could be like like today I was thinking about taking a picture of I was mowing with Vinny today,
Nice.
doing some work with that man, that legend. And I thought my lines were pretty clean, so I was going to take a pic, but then I was like, nah, let me not do that. But point is that, a lot of people look for others' validation through social media. And I think as people have continued to do that, it's only kind of gotten worse as time goes on, in the sense of needing that validation to some extent for some people. I know a lot
Yeah.
of people that continue to post and post. It's almost like they want the validation of someone seeing what they're up to.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, for me, I was gonna play the side of, how did the question get phrased? It was like, is social media bad for our society?
Is social media good for our society? I think
Oh,
it
okay.
was.
I was gonna play the side of yes, but I wanted to feed into your topic about no a little bit, and that whole like self-deprecation and stuff like that kind of like sits pretty good. Like you kind of got the point that I was gonna make with that.
Yeah.
But the other thing I was gonna put on the side of no, was desensitization, like being able to kind of be drawn away, from things that you would normally experience, way less frequently than you would with social media. So, like for example, pornography is a big one.
Yep.
Also, seeing people die, like those more gory, like pages and content, and maybe not even dying, but stuff like getting hit by a car or getting robbed and getting severely injured, like falling off of a building, random stuff like that.
Yeah.
And people get to see that, for just right out there in front of their eyes, just exactly what it is. There's not really any censoring. I mean, there is sometimes, but majority of the time, if you are just scrolling through videos, you can't really help it. Like sometimes it's just there, sometimes you see it, and especially for kids younger than us, people who are under 20 years old. Wow, who are under 20 years old are probably seeing that much more often, and they don't really have any restrictions, and they think it's comical, or they think it's more joking, than it really comes off as, or it's just another video, something that's
Yeah.
the norm almost. And then I guess besides that, there's not really too much else that's desensitizing, but just the sheer overload of content. Everything that you shovel into your eyes day in, day out. Not that I'm going to go on like a health trope here about how your eyes are affected from, sustained use of your phone or whatever, but I was more getting at what you're seeing all the time. Your login hours, I guess you could say. For example, like my phone time day to day is somewhere between 3 and 4 hours, which is a lot. It's not good. But I know people that can easily double that, and those people that are doing double that and more are the ones that should be worrisome for the future.
Yeah. I think playing off of like the desensitization, I can't speak either today. What you were just talking about, we'll just say that. I think on top of that, with how much hours they're putting in, people also tend to lose. I wouldn't say lose, but the way they communicate on social media is definitely different than how you would communicate, in person, of course.
That's true.
So you find a lot of people, this is kind of just in hand with being on your phone and just, seeing all these things and just sitting, replying online or whatever it is. People lose that ability to like truly communicate with one another. So you find that a lot of these younger generations are much more anxious, much more nervous to talk to people, much more closed off.
Sure, that's true.
And myself included, I've even found that it's been difficult for myself, but I've opened up a bit more, and I've been pushing myself to like do it to get away from that like factor. I don't want that. I wouldn't say it's as bad as some. I could still like call over the phone like and order a pizza or like talk to someone in the gas station if I need to.
Right.
I'm a pretty open guy most of the time, but sometimes I find that it's like, oh man, I don't want to do that. But that's something that I work on myself, and I have been working on frequently now. But other people find it much more difficult than say myself, and it's truly something that is kind of crippling a lot of our younger generations, more so than obviously the older generations, having had the experience of just basically no smartphones, just, whether it's like a flip phone or
Right.
whatever it was at the time. They've had that. They know how to talk to someone. They know how to get something done in the sense of calling up, making an appointment, whatever it might be. Could be anything. These younger generations are having a hard time just talking, and I think that's a huge factor as to why I don't believe social media is good for society, because
The communication barriers could get bad. That would be another big one for sure.
yeah, that's kind of what I got for that right now. So I want to hear what you have for why you think it would be good, if you want to go on that.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess the first big thing I was thinking about, and the main reason I got into social media in the first place, is the use that it's supposed to be for. Social media, when it first came out, was a big networking tool, and that was mostly what it was used for. With Instagram, that was when I first got into it, it was a lot of friends and buddies and family posting selfies and taking vacation pictures and maybe throwing up photos of their pets and stuff like that. And,
Right.
Not as like a show off thing, but just kind of like here's a glimpse into my life. And aside from Instagram, the other ones were pretty good for networking. LinkedIn was huge for it. When Facebook first came out, being able to, get together with friends and family, and then also get a hold of the public, like with your posting, that was big. And then X was huge for networking. I know I still now use X strictly for networking and posting for the business. But of course, there's the flip side to post for leisure. Now, if there is the good essence that we're getting from where social media is going, that would be, one argument as to why I would say it's good. It's a good networking tool. You connect with more than just you would like your local populace, for example. Now you're branching out more than just like, say, for example, you only drive 20-25 miles radius around where you live, and that's the people at least the majority. Everyone else is family, friends you've met from outside the town, stuff like that. But when you're on social media, everything expands to a global perspective. Now you can meet people from China, you can meet people from Ireland, you can meet people right in the same nation, maybe just across the country, over in California, stuff like that. And of course, in that sense, you're not getting this physical relationship. There's no face-to-face contact. It's a lot of like what we were talking about with communication. But in that sense, everyone kind of becomes more connected and intertwined, and they also get to work with each other. Aside from familial and like friendly relations, you also get business relations once you start branching like that. So that's the first big one. Huge network, being able to expand your horizons. So I don't know if that would sway your thoughts, but of course, I have a couple more. But I do want to hear what you have to say about networking.
Well, I mean, if social media kind of steered in that direction, like, and continue to steer in that direction more so than what they're pumping into, what we have now, I would agree with you, and I would say that, that would be definitely a contender to my reasoning.
Yeah.
If it was solely used by the people, for the people, just to connect with friends, family, there's people with friends that have, because now it's, they're pumping in ads and everything, which I understand. Like, people need to make money off of some things. I get it, but it's also like I'm thinking the number one thing I'm thinking about right now is like Twitter or X. Sorry, I just think of it as Twitter.
It's both basically anyway. Don't matter, right?
Yeah. I think about like the recommended tweets that I get, and I always hate them. They it never matches like what I've either liked or enjoyed. Sometimes, like a majority of it though is like, why do I need to see this? Why do I care about it? As well as like now within like X, you don't even you when you open up like the feed just to see like the replies to a tweet, like I used to love doing that because I used to love like seeing what other people thought about it, whatever it was. It could be a meme, it could be, just someone saying something. Now all you get is just ads, one reply, ads, and it'll
Or if
say
it's not
like
an ad, it's a post about something else. It's just another
yeah.
user, but it's completely unrelated.
Right, and but that's essentially what it is. It's just another page that's just spam posting
Yeah.
these stupid, like what are they? Like published articles that you have to click. If you click them, that takes you to a whole other like
Oh,
link.
yeah.
And
Yes. Yep. I know those. Very, very familiar with those.
yeah, I mean, like I don't click on them. Of course, I'm not silly. But it's like, you see like 400,000 replies, and then you only see like maybe two of like actual people. And it's quite annoying in my opinion, because that's what's kind of taken over social media, even with TikTok. Now TikTok came later than like Instagram, Snapchat,
Right.
and Twitter, X. X is now under, new management, so it's not like the original Twitter. But it's, all of them are doing the same thing. It's they're throwing in needless ads or just recommendations that don't even match up with what you like are looking at. And it's like I don't really want to see anything else other than the people that I follow or like the things that I want to see.
Yeah.
Like it's
right.
great, like
Right.
it's great that you recommend me stuff. Cool, that's fine, but it's also like I don't really need it. I just want to see what other people are talking about or what they're posting or what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see. So
I agree. X got off on a bad foot with that. They're pretty much the worst right now. Like Facebook
Yeah.
is pretty good, like for my scrolling, as far as like what I like to see. X has
Right.
gotten bad with ads, but I will say that X usually shows me what I want. I follow like a particular, like grouping of accounts and like niches, I guess you could say. So I get what I'm looking for. But I do have like what you're saying happening with recommended stuff. Happen on God, what the heck is it? Snapchat. It'll be like my Snapchat stories, and I'll be like, I don't want to see any of this. But
No,
they
yeah.
know that they're just gonna start funneling, whatever clickbaity stuff they can at the top, like the first 6 clips. But Snapchat's been pretty much the only bad one for me. TikTok's good. Facebook is good. X has been good, so I don't have any complaints. But if they're listening and they're gonna mess it up, I retract everything I said.
Yeah, I mean, like, social media could be really good, and I wish it would have stuck with like its intended use.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed social media at that time when they like stuff first started popping out.
No
I
doubt.
liked Instagram, but I ended up deleting my Instagram because that's when they first started like adding in Reels, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't use this anymore. Like, why do I need it? Because like the only thing, no one was really posting on Instagram anymore, but now all of a sudden Instagram's popping up again for whatever reason. And they're always like, "Oh, like what's your Insta?" And I don't have one. What?
Yeah, it's become like a long form Snapchat. That's kind of how it feels.
Yeah.
Like people will have their page and their posts, from when they came back, and they're pretty consistent. But then they're doing a lot of that short form, day to day, take a glimpse into my day type thing, which is chill. I have a lot of friends that I get to keep up with, see what they're up to. But everyone else is just kind of like strangers or people you don't really care to follow, stuff like that. It's like I couldn't care less.
Yeah. It's just like they've taken everything. Like Instagram has the stories as well, just as like Snapchat does. Or they used to.
That's what I was saying. I don't know why I got into Reels. I guess they're different, but that's more what I was talking about. That Instagram
Oh, yeah.
is like that story feature, similar to what Snapchat is.
Yeah, same with Facebook. Facebook does the same thing too.
Facebook, yeah.
So like they're all just copying each other. Like they're
Well, I mean,
all
Facebook
like,
and Instagram are one and the same, Meta, and then
yeah. Oh, I forgot.
Snapchat.
Yeah.
I don't know who owns Snapchat, but
No, they're all doing the same thing because Snapchat has like in essence, like a Reels. Like they have all those little like videos below your stories and all that. Like the
yeah,
So it's like they're all just copying each other. It's all getting very tiring to me, and it's like I just I just want to talk to my friends. Like Snapchat, like I snap my friends, like Morgan, Gabby, and Lewis. Like I snap them pretty much every day. Sometimes I'll snap you, but we're not big on Snap, and we just text each other. That's the other thing too. It's like I text the majority of my friends, and like I have some friends on Facebook Messenger that I keep in touch with. Like Vinny, I text on Facebook Messenger. It seems to be
Right.
easier for him. So it's like I use these things for their sole purpose, like connecting with my friends and making sure I stay in connection with them.
Absolutely.
Like I still talk with Austin, Austin Green on Facebook Messenger too.
Yep.
So it's like that's what I expect social media to be, like keeping in contact with your friends, showing them like what you're up to, and that's it. That's all I want out of it.
Right. And it's funny you say that because when all those platforms came out originally, they all had like a purpose. Like when they were created, they were meant to be used a specific way. But now everyone kind of uses them in their own form. Like for you, like Facebook is a big platform to be able to keep up with the friends that you don't necessarily have numbers, but you also still want to be connected to them type thing.
Yeah.
Similar to for me for Facebook. But I also use it as my scroll house. Like Facebook Reels is like big for me, because it's all of my golf, cooking, soccer, billiards, and like crazy outdoor adventure stuff, that I see. TikTok I haven't gotten like totally curated to my taste yet, besides like Rocket League. And then X, has been a big powerhouse for networking and like furthering the business and stuff. But that's because I
Right.
wanted it to be that. I could 100% do that with Instagram, Facebook, maybe Snapchat. But X just seems like the place to be able to take care of that because I already kind of forward focused my account when I started it that way. The other ones were kind of like those leisure things, where people are just posting pictures to post pictures.
Yeah.
This kind of leads into the other point that I was going to make about why it would be a good thing. Jobs. Huge. And going forward, every decade that we move into the future, we'll be having every generation that's ahead of us, that are older and stuff, funneling out of, the people that can't use social media, can't use technology. But every decade that we move forward, all the people that are familiar with it, know how to use it, are getting older. And then those people, like, for example, our parents, will be the parents who know how to access those platforms, utilize them, and then manipulate them the way they want. And then for everyone below, at our level, our age, and below us now that are going to come up, are going
Yeah.
to be very, very well versed in social media. And that's not to say that it will be strictly for business or strictly for personal. I think it'll be on both ends. But with that being said, every new platform that pops up, every new update, every new capability on that platform provides some type of new avenue for someone to make money. With what you were talking about before with ads, I think of a lot of those like personal creators that are starting to like come up and get bigger on YouTube and start having more of an influencer like recognition. Those are the people that are benefiting from those ads. Yes, it's the bigger companies are really pulling in the money, but a lot of those people that are small and growing and becoming those influencers are getting some of that share through ad spend and things like that, which is, big thumbs for me. I hate ads, don't get me wrong, but that's the one thing I will always say that's good about ads is for those people who are on the up and coming, are getting aid from those ads.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Aside from all the ad fun, jobs, back to jobs. I could do a lot of things with LinkedIn where I could be making money. Discord, it's a huge place to go and work and make money, whether or not that's in Web 3 or right back in Web 2. You can make a lot of money in both directions.
Right.
Facebook, humongous, absolutely crazy. Mom makes money on Facebook. Instagram,
Yeah.
another huge one. You could be ambassadoring for brands. You could just simply be posting. You could also be talking about products you buy. And then X. X is, huge. And that's more on a network front. You connect with people in communities and you similar to Discord, become a part of big channels and stuff like that. And you could also self-promote. But that's all just to say that social media being good going forward because it can provide jobs for people that, one, just want to be remote, want to work the job. Two, people that are introverted, want to stay home, don't really want to be involved in like a physical presence anywhere, but they're very happy to, be a keyboard warrior, if you will. And then, of course, three, pay scale. For everyone that's comfortably doing manual labor, that's cool. That's chill. I commend you. I do manual labor myself, but it also takes a toll on your body. So people that are, up and coming and being able to make money on social media platforms and do digital work, it's going to be just as lucrative. It might already be just as lucrative, but it will be more lucrative in the future as we continue, down the social media path to be working in an online, digital sense. Now, those two reasons might not be enough to push, why social media might be good, but those two are big enough to me to see how they could be good. And that's only with proper use. If things get out of hand, whatever, which they can, then things could very easily take a turn for the worse. But I'm always optimistic. I think very forward. I'm never trying to leave people in the dust, so to say. But would love to hear what you think about jobs, buddy. What you got?
I mean, like, I work an online job. It's not necessarily within, social media, but I still work an online job. Of course, I'm moving towards a manual labor job, which I've wanted. But, even at the point when I was looking for jobs, the online job was there for me and it made things easy. I was able to stay home, take care of the house kind of thing, deal with what I needed to deal with, and
for sure,
kind of, do my own thing. But that's besides the point. That's, that's another scenario, but at least it feeds into the idea of having jobs online.
Yeah, because you can relate on a personal standpoint.
Yeah. But in the view of, like, I think of, big YouTubers. We'll just use them for an example. Obviously having ads within their videos. Obviously they make ad revenue for however much, someone clicks on it or whatever deal they made with the company that they're, promoting. Sure. So most times it's ad revenue off of clicks, whoever clicks on the ad. That's the usual deal that they have. Besides the point, they make certain money off of that. And I would say that's obviously they need to make a little bit more money if this is like a full-time thing they do. I think of, like, who we watch, like Markiplier, or like other channels I watch, shout out Nuke's Top 5. But point is that they always have ads. They do put time and effort into what they're producing for us, for our, for their subscribers, for anyone who watches anything on YouTube. Everyone watches something on YouTube. I know that for the most part. So it's like, they need to survive a little bit too, especially if they're putting out entertainment on a personal level in comparison to, like, an entertainment company. Where am I going with this? Point is that I get
Jobs.
Jobs is a good thing, within social media or even in like an entertainment type thing. Like, I would consider YouTube more of like, I guess a little bit more than just like a social media standpoint. With their shorts, that's where they've kind of gone into like that mimicking of TikTok, Instagram Reels, and so on. The Facebook Reels as well, or whatever they call them. So I think they've gauged toward the younger generation with the YouTube Shorts, because that was never really a thing until maybe 5-10 years ago. I don't know how long.
Well, what are you tying into that as far as job creation? That's what I'm asking.
Right. I guess where am I going with that? My apologies. Within jobs, I guess, having a job on, in your standpoint, using like X for your promotion for your Amazon business, or even like you were saying before, like ambassadors wearing, or wearing clothes or, whatever, doing something on Instagram. I think it's good, if people want to do that and that's the route they want to take, by all means, if they have a following and they're making money with it and people support that, then sure, that's one thing. But but I also don't think it should take up a majority of like what you're doing, I guess, unless you're making the page itself through your, whatever you're doing, like solely around like what you're an ambassador for, or what you're selling. Like I know some people have like Instagrams just for their art. They
Right.
sell their art online. And now it's not necessarily a job through Instagram, but at least they're getting their name out there more, just like we are too with our podcast.
They're
like
utilizing that platform to be able to get recognition. Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's like I would support that because we do the same thing with our podcast.
Sure.
We promote on X. Truthfully, it's mainly you putting it out there. I always forget to, but I throw it out on Snapchat too, and Facebook. We always post on Facebook for that. So sure, yeah, of course I support it because we do it ourselves. But now we're not necessarily making money. This is something we do for for fun.
Right.
Sure, I would love to make money down the road once we've kind of solidified in what we're talking about, and what we want to do with it. But for right now, I'm okay with it just for fun. I don't need to make money. But point is that yeah, like if we could make money and utilize it, then sure, yeah, hell yeah. Do I want it as like my own job? No. I think over time, like I would want to be doing something else as well and not like a full-time job. It would be cool to podcast like full-time. That'd be really cool. But point is yes, I agree with the jobs. Like, and to some standpoint, yes, jobs is definitely helpful on social media because it also gives another avenue for people that, like you said, are introverted, have a tough time. They could even have a hard time getting out of the house in the stance of either a medical condition. I know some people can't walk well, or there's something inhibiting them from going outside or being able to get up every day.
Yeah, physical disability, another huge one.
Yeah.
Huge.
So, that's what I was thinking when you were listing off the other three that you were talking about. I know a lot of people that can't get outside the house, work an online job, which makes it easy for them. They could just work at home from their laptop. But I think overall, it's kind of back and forth between social media. I think of certain things, like, of course, we each have our vices. You like Facebook. I sit on TikTok too sometimes, like for a while. Everyone does it. We're not throwing anyone under the bus here, especially not me because I'm guilty of it.
Definitely a culprit.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of a back and forth. I would like to see social media kind of come up from where it is right now. I think it should definitely sit more on the side of like supporting what it used to be, rather than kind of conforming to the rest of them and doing all the same thing. That's the main issue that I have. And then of course what we talked about towards the beginning with our newer generations struggling to come outside and talk.
Right.
And what we discussed in the beginning, we won't get back into it as we're heading towards the end of this, but you have any closing thoughts before we end off?
I was just gonna say that with the question, the way it's like expressed, how it comes across, is it good for society or however it's worded? I think it's relative because it's gonna be based on how people utilize it, and that's only because social media could be used for good and it could also be used for evil, and then it could also be used for everything in between, for productivity. It could be used for creativity. It could be used just to be lazy. It could also be used to be very productive. So I think based on how the user interprets the way they want to take on the platform, then that's the only reason it's going to be good, bad, or ugly for society. And if the masses, are getting a hold of it, and people start buying into, mainstream media propaganda, or people start, looking into information that's fake as truth, or if people start, slandering all over the place. I just think those are, and that's only a few things, that could deter people from utilizing social media in a better light. But that's besides the point. I'm just going to end in the idea that I don't have any really good or bad direction I'd sway. I know there's both sides of it, but if you can balance it, then social media will be just what you make of it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think you've pulled me from hating social media, but I think I still have an upset idea of it. I just wish, like I stated, they would come back to the original concept. But tell us what you guys think. What do you think? Do you think it's good for society? Do you think it's bad for society? Let us know what you think. Put it down in the comments on YouTube if you're listening there. Spotify, I know it's a little bit harder. At least, you can let us know what you think of the episode. Maybe you can leave a comment there if you guys like. As always, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on, Spotify,